My name is Kalen now, a name whispered on the wind, a new identity forged in the crucible of change. But once, in what feels like a lifetime ago, I was Julian Croft, a titan of industry, a name synonymous with power and influence. I was living in a penthouse, a gilded cage perched high above a city that never slept, its relentless energy fueling my own ambition. My days were a blur of numbers, a constant stream of data points that dictated my every move. Deadlines loomed like specters, always chasing, always demanding, and negotiations were a battlefield where every word was a weapon, every silence a strategy. Success was my drug, an intoxicating elixir that promised fulfillment but delivered only fleeting satisfaction. But the high never lasted. It was a phantom, always receding, always leaving me wanting more. I had everything, wealth beyond measure, a fortune accumulated through relentless pursuit. Power, the ability to shape the world according to my will, to command and control. Status, the recognition, the accolades, the envy of others. Yet, despite all the outward trappings of success, my soul was starving, yearning for something more profound. The anxiety was constant, a low hum beneath the surface of my carefully constructed facade. My mind was a marketplace of profit margins and threats, a chaotic arena where fear and ambition battled for supremacy. Relationships were transactions, calculated exchanges of power and influence. Even love was a contract, a carefully negotiated agreement with terms and conditions. I built a fortress of ego, a towering edifice of self-importance designed to protect me from vulnerability. But ironically, it became my prison, isolating me from genuine connection and true happiness. The world saw a powerful man, a leader, a visionary, but in reality, I was a slave to ambition, chained to a relentless pursuit of more. My health frayed under the strain, the constant pressure taking its toll. Sleep eluded me, a restless mind unable to find peace, and I relied on caffeine and other stimulants to get through the day, a desperate attempt to keep pace with my own relentless drive, to get through endless days filled with meetings, decisions, and the weight of responsibility. I was running a marathon with no finish line, pushing myself to the brink of exhaustion in a race I could never win, gaining the world perhaps, but losing myself in the process, sacrificing my well-being on the altar of success. The reflection in the mirror was a stranger, haunted by the ghosts of ambition, empty despite all the outward appearances of fulfillment. The echoes of that life still visit me, like whispers from a distant shore, a reminder of who I once was. Not as regrets, for I have learned from the past, but as reminders of the vast distance between having everything the world could offer and being truly whole, truly at peace. That emptiness, that profound sense of lack, was the unlikely beginning of my journey toward a different kind of life, a life of purpose and meaning. The turning point wasn't a dramatic collapse, a sudden cataclysm that shattered everything I knew. It wasn't a single, earth-shattering event that forced me to reconsider my life's trajectory. It was far more subtle, more insidious. It was a series of small awakenings, like the slow, persistent drip of water eroding a stone. Each one seemingly insignificant on its own, but collectively they carved deep fissures into the foundation of my carefully constructed reality. After closing the biggest deal of my career, a deal that promised untold riches and further cemented my position at the top, I stood on a balcony, high above the city, surrounded by the cacophony of celebration, the clinking of champagne glasses, the forced laughter and backslapping, feeling nothing but a hollow ache, a profound emptiness that no amount of success could ever fill. The irony was crushing. I began to notice the world outside my bubble, the world beyond the glass and steel towers, beyond the power lunches and boardroom meetings. I saw a janitor humming contentedly as he mopped the floors, finding satisfaction in his simple work, a couple laughing in the rain, oblivious to the world around them, finding joy in the simplest of moments. These moments of simple joy, these fleeting glimpses of genuine human connection, felt more real, more authentic than any victory I'd ever claimed in the cutthroat world of business. They resonated with a truth I had long suppressed. The final crack, the one that shattered the illusion completely, came in a remote village in Southeast Asia, where during a business trip I stumbled upon an old monk sitting peacefully under a sprawling banyan tree. He had nothing, no possessions, no wealth, no status, yet radiated a calm, a serenity, an inner peace I'd never known, never even imagined possible. His stillness was a mirror to my inner turmoil, a stark contrast to the constant chaos and striving that defined my life. It was an invitation to ask myself the most fundamental question: what am I truly searching for? What is the ultimate goal of all this striving? The answer, when it finally came, was startlingly clear. It wasn't more money, more power, more accolades, more of anything the world deemed valuable. It was peace, a sense of inner tranquility that transcended the external circumstances of my life. I realized with a chilling certainty that I could never find it on the path I was on, the path of relentless ambition and material pursuit. The golden cage, however beautiful and alluring, had to be left behind. It was a prison, no matter how gilded. I knew then with unwavering conviction that I had to walk away, no matter the cost, no matter the consequences. The world I'd built, the empire I'd painstakingly constructed, was no longer home. It felt alien, suffocating. I was ready to leave it all behind and embark on a new journey, a journey into the unknown. Returning home after making the decision, everything felt foreign. The familiar surroundings seemed distant, as if I were seeing them for the very first time. It was a strange sensation, like stepping into a parallel universe where everything was the same, yet profoundly different. My office, once a symbol of my ambition, my penthouse, a testament to my success, my life, meticulously crafted and curated. These things now felt like costumes I had outgrown, props from a play that had run its course. The decision to leave, to walk away from it all, came from the heart, a deep, unwavering knowing that resonated within my soul. It wasn't a logical calculation or a strategic move, not the mind, which would have argued for the comfort and security of the known. The mind would have presented 1,000 reasons to stay, but the heart knew a different truth. My partners thought I was breaking down, that the pressure had finally gotten to me. They saw my decision as a sign of weakness, a temporary lapse in judgment. My friends were baffled, unable to comprehend why I would willingly abandon the life they so desperately craved. They couldn't understand the yearning for something more profound. Letting go began with the material, the tangible symbols of my former identity. It was a process of detachment, of severing ties with the things that had once defined me. I sold companies, properties, cars, divesting myself of the empire I had built. Each transaction was a step further away from the life I was leaving behind. Each signature lifted a weight, a burden of responsibility and expectation that had been pressing down on me for years. It was a tangible release. I gave away my suits and art, the trappings of wealth and status that no longer held any meaning for me. These possessions were meant to be enjoyed, not hoarded. I packed a single bag, containing only the bare essentials, a symbolic gesture of my commitment to simplicity. It was a conscious decision to travel light, both physically and metaphorically, and felt layers of identity peel away, like shedding an old skin. With each item discarded, I felt lighter, freer, more authentic. The hardest part was letting go of my ego, the carefully constructed persona I had presented to the world. It was a humbling experience. Julian Croft, the powerful name, the brand I had built, the reputation I had cultivated, it was all I had known for so long. To become a nobody was terrifying, to relinquish the power and influence I had wielded. The fear of insignificance was a formidable obstacle, but also liberating, to be free from the constraints of expectation and the burden of maintaining an image. It was a paradox, fear and freedom intertwined. I learned to find worth not in what I owned, not in the accumulation of possessions, but in something far more enduring, but in who I was, in the essence of my being, in the values I held dear. True wealth, I discovered, lies within. My final act was leaving the penthouse, closing the door on that chapter of my life, and stepping into the unknown. Walking into the city as an anonymous pilgrim, stripped of all pretense and artifice. I was just another face in the crowd. The noise and rush no longer pulled me in, no longer triggered the ambition and drive that had once consumed me. I was no longer a participant in the rat race. I was an observer now, detached and present, witnessing the human drama unfold without being caught up in its currents. That first step into the unknown, away from everything I had ever known, was a leap of faith, was both terrifying and freeing, a simultaneous experience of fear and exhilaration. It was the ultimate act of surrender. It was the beginning of my journey, a pilgrimage into the depths of my own being, a quest for meaning and purpose. From the marketplace to the monastery of the self, from the external world of ambition and achievement to the internal world of contemplation and self-discovery. I didn't look back. There was no point in dwelling on what was lost. The past was the past, and the future was unwritten. I walked forward, lighter than ever, unburdened by the weight of my former life, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. My journey led me to a remote monastery in the mountains where silence was not emptiness, but presence. The air was pure, the world simple. No marble, no gold, just weathered wood and stone. Life moved with the sun, not the clock. My days began before dawn with meditation, followed by tending gardens and sharing silent meals. There were no meetings, no deadlines, only the urgency to be present. Each task became a practice in mindfulness. Nature was my teacher. The steadfast mountains, the resilient trees, the flowing river. The river taught me to let go, to flow without clinging. In this profound quiet, my inner noise began to subside. The symphony of silence was healing me. In the monastery, I learned the foundation of peace is the breath. My old life was shallow, frantic. Here, breath became my anchor. The first lesson, just notice your breath. It sounded simple, but my restless mind rebelled. My teacher said, don't fight your thoughts, acknowledge them, and return to the breath. I practiced, gently guiding my mind back, again and again. Stillness appeared between thoughts. I saw my emotions as passing clouds, not truths. I learned I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness watching them. This realization unlocked inner freedom. Mindfulness seeped into every moment, eating, walking, listening. The breath kept me grounded when old anxieties surfaced. Breathing became a conscious act of peace. It was the art of being alive moment by moment. This was my new foundation. The monastery's greatest lessons came in silence and simple words. My teacher told me, the peace you seek is here, beneath the noise of your mind. I'd chased happiness in the future. Now I learned peace is a state of being, available now. When I expressed shame about my past, my teacher showed me a lotus. Without the mud, there is no flower. Your past is your mud. My past became the soil for wisdom, not a source of shame. True happiness is about letting go, not adding more. Your mind is a house, an old nun said. Declutter it, and joy will arise. I practiced letting go of resentments and worries, returning to the present. The monks embodied gentle strength and deep compassion. Strength was being grounded, not forceful. Compassion was presence, not just feeling. You are the sky, my teacher said. Thoughts are clouds, the sky remains. The goal wasn't to stop thinking, but to not let thoughts control me. In stillness, I found freedom. My transformation was gradual, a slow unburdening of the soul. The armor of my old identity dissolved, replaced by acceptance and a new confidence from inner stillness. My heart softened. I saw the shared humanity in everyone and everything. Compassion grew as my mind quieted. Joy came from service, not acquisition. Letting go of inner attachments, being right, my old story, control, brought true freedom. The unburdening made space for love, compassion, and peace to grow. In my old world, wealth meant accumulation. Here, I found wealth in emptiness, a spaciousness of mind, free from clutter. This inner silence was the greatest treasure I'd ever known. My days were rich with simple joys, a bowl of rice, the sun's warmth, a shared smile. Happiness was no longer tied to external things. It was generated from within. The pursuit of more is a symptom of inner poverty. True contentment is appreciating what's already here. By letting go of craving, I found I already had enough. In giving up what the world values, I found a treasure beyond measure. This is the wealth of a quiet mind and a soul at home. Today, my life is simple. Sunrise meditation, work learning breath. Peace is not a destination, but a daily practice, a choice to return to the present. Old habits still surface, but now I meet them with gentle understanding. The greatest lesson: you don't need a monastery to find peace. The monastery is a state of mind available anywhere. It begins with a pause, a breath, a moment of just being. True peace is about changing your relationship to life, not your circumstances. My journey was from excess to simplicity, but the essence is universal from head to heart. Happiness isn't something to chase, it's what remains when you let go. So, I invite you, pause. Now take a conscious breath and let go of worries and regrets. Be fully here in the present. This is where life and peace are found. It's been with you all along.